is building. In this huge cavern, assembly of the generators begins. Each part brought in through a tunnel road, spiraling down through the rock from the surface above. Seven generators will stand here, each producing 100,000 kilowatts of power. For 6 years, the sounds of construction have echoed round the mountains. This, then, is where the line really begins, in the granite heart of Fiordland. For the first 30 miles of its 95-mile journey to the national grid at Invercargill, men will make a path for it through the roughest, hardest country in New Zealand. A slot through ancient forest must be made. The fallen trees shelter and stimulate new growth, which will soon cover the scar. The 600 acres felled are a mere scratch in the 3 million acres of Fiordland National Park. To enable men, concrete and steel to reach the sites of the tall towers which will carry the line, roads must be built. Here the valleys are swamp-like, and the roads to be seas of mud. "3,000 feet above, on cliff and mountainside, drills eat into rock as roads edge cautiously forward. Port of Bluff, 120 miles from placid Manapouri. Unloading here is steel, 25,000 tons of it, steel for the towers. The long hauls to Fiordland, beginning at Bluff, are moving the steel that will make the towers, that will support the lines, that will carry Manapouri's electricity back to Bluff and power the giant aluminium smelter. From Bluff to Invercargill, from Invercargill into the farmland. This green and rolling countryside gives no hint of the cruel Fiordland mountains up ahead. The line passes through here, where the towers are already up. It was easy building on the flat. Monowai Camp and the edge of the Fiordland Mountains. The Sunday drive is over. "220 men work on the line. They're on the tower sites at 6:30 in the morning. They go till 6 at night, and they know their business. Fiordland's climate is unpredictable, but as long as men can see through dust on the fine days and drizzle on the wet, they work.
Just potato and meat.
Just potato and meat.
How many of those? 1, 2, 3, is it? Good.
And they live well back at camp. There have to be some compensations for working so far from civilization. The men are from all over New Zealand, married and single, old hands and trainees, students, learning it the hard way, the best way.
You even won yourself a deal. You're doing all right. You put those on two sides and see if they'll...
To build a tower, first dig a hole. Steel reinforcing is set fast in the first pour of concrete for the massive foundation. At some sites, concrete is mixed on the spot, ton upon ton of it poured into the excavations. But towers are also needed on locations far from the road. To them, men and concrete alike come by air. The erratic weather can affect not only men, but the very steel of the towers themselves. They must be immovable, unyielding in heat or cold, and the allowable margin for error in placing each huge concrete base is exactly 1/16 of an inch. The line's largest spans will be held by the heaviest towers. For these, the steel is dragged up almost impossible grades on roads literally carved out of the mountains. Where the roads end, where no more roads could be made, helicopters take over the haul. No two towers are the same. Each has been precisely designed according to where it will stand in this unfriendly place. Some will carry the line's weight from a sister tower across a valley, and in winter may have to bear the added strain of tons of ice formed on the line. Some will stand closer together, helping each other to lift the line up and over a saddle in the mountains. The towers are individual as the men who are putting them together piece by piece. As the towers grow, a man must climb higher before the day's work starts, each morning further than the day before. He is skilled and is safe enough 100 feet up. Still, the most important thing he knows is that there's nothing between him and the ground but his nerve. Steadily, the towers rise, and over on the other side of the Fiordland ridges, the civilized side, they will connect with the 60 miles of towers already built in Southland. About once a month, the men get a 5-day break, and there's nothing holds them back on their way to town. For some, the holiday means families and gardening. For others, any pleasant surprise that comes along. That friendly pub could be 1,000 miles away, as on this winter morning in the mountains, they begin to string the line, to unreel the conductor cables that will each carry 220,000 volts of Manapouri's power. As one reel runs out, it's spliced to the next. Here, too, helicopters do what no man can undertake. They carry a rope across the spans. To that tow rope will be fixed the weighty cable. But the icy fog is down and getting worse. Men can no longer see, so work must stop. More snow, the picture postcard falls that shatter every tree and halt all progress on the line. When the weather clears and roads open once more, equipment is located, dug out, and ready for work. The job recommences as choppers drape tow ropes from tower to tower. The ropes are reeled in and they drag the heavy conductors behind them. upon long day, mile upon long mile, these great cables, the conductors, are reeled out. There are still breaks in the work when the weather sours, but the stringing progresses well. The Manapouri power scheme has been an immense operation. At one time, 1,800 men worked on it, underground and in the open. They have been housed and fed well and well paid. No one can say they have not earned their money. At last, the Manapouri line has crossed the mountains. It is complete. 30 miles, hard and dirty miles of fjordland crossed. In spite of snow, in spite of 200 inches of rain a year, in spite of mosquitoes and rock slides, burning sun and bitter winds, the line is finished, and the scars of its path will soon be covered. Only the towers will remain, striding past Tiwai Camp across the easy pasture land, carrying Manapouri's power towards the national grid and the distant sea.